Hey everybody, and welcome to the Hopcast.
Thanks for joining us once again, everybody.
I'm Brad Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Hunnemeder, and we have a very familiar special guest, Mr. Pete Crowley.
Welcome back.
So Pete Crowley, if you are maybe new to the show or under a rock somewhere, resident brewmaster here at the Haymarket Pub and Brewery.
Right, and we are down in the barrel room,
We're in
depths.
the secret space. Is someone bringing us cheese fries though? We've been drinking beer a long time.
Yeah.
We have been. We did something very, very special today, and gotta thank you first and foremost for that. We did kind of a nice, rare stout barrel age tasting.
Right, like what, 90% of the beers we had today were barrel aged?
Yeah, some of them snuck in there.
They were all rare.
All
regardless.
rare.
All rare.
Yes.
All rare.
So cheers
Rare.
to that.
Rare.
Speaking of
And-
rare
Right,
beers.
I think I have right now I have a little splash of the Pappy Van Winkle Dark Lord.
From 2011, yes. So basically, we were just kind of going down the line. Everyone brought a little bit of this and a little bit of that, mostly from Pete, but had a really, really good time just kind of tasting beers and experiencing the cellaring process of beers. The whole idea, and you can speak more to this, is that, sometimes you want a cellar and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, I think it was a really unique tasting. We had 4 or 5 vintages from a lot of the rarest barrel-aged beers around the country. Everything from Surly Darkness to Kentucky Breakfast Stout, to Dark Lord, the Brewery, lots of great Bourbon County, Goose Island beers, and really, to me, the funnest thing with our interactions has been which year was better than the other year, and what was going on in certain years, and how some years really were past their prime, and it's only been 3 or 4 years. So it was kind of glaring that though these beers are extremely rare and they're extremely sought after, and they're available on eBay and other things for a lot of money, that in reality, saving them, it really isn't the point. Enjoying them is the point.
Yeah.
And
enjoying them with friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything that we had 08, 09, I think was past its prime. We had a lot of fun beers, and the list will be available on your website and our website. We had probably 50 different beers. But in reality,
If
you
couldn't tell.
Yeah. But the reality of the situation is that the beers were probably better a few years ago, and we get caught up in saving these beers, and we get caught up in oh, look what I got in my collection. And in reality, is great, it's in your collection, but it's meant to be consumed now. It's a fresh product. Beer is like a fine wine, and some beers do age, longer than others, but I think we learned a great lesson tonight, and that we had some beers tonight that we literally opened up bottles of beer that were hundreds of dollars a bottle. I tell you, the ones that were 1 and 2 years old were far, far better than the ones that were 3 and 4 years old.
Yeah,
And
they're not baseball cards. They're gonna change over time. They're not just a piece of paper that's like timeless.
right.
And you can't say that we're not, guilty of this. I know that because I recently just went through my stash and put everything in organized categories and all that stuff. And I realized that I had some stuff that I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I had this. I should probably drink it. So I think one thing that's important is to just get organized. And that way you can kind of attack it. But one of the important things is just feel free to drink your cellar.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
a trophy case.
That is the biggest message, I think, of this whole evening. And that really, it's cool to have a great collection of old stuff, but in reality, some of this stuff is in such a prime right now. Everything that we tasted that was in 09 or 2010 was so good.
Right.
Anything before that, it's just not going to hold up. And
Yeah.
we're not making these beers to be made that long. And I think it's a culture in the craft beer lover community that they want to have a collection, and that's great. But the reality of it is, I mean, if you look at what Vinny started long ago with
Russian River.
Oh, shut up!
Oh, was that a shout out? Sorry.
When you name drop, it's a shout out.
That was really funny.
Come on, Pete.
I wasn't trying to name drop. But he started long ago. It's the bottom line is that his beer's ready to drink now. Don't save it. Drink plenty of the elder now. And he was one of the first, the pioneers of drink the beer now. And I think that's where we need to realize.
But Pliny's different than a bourbon barrel.
Not necessarily, because the bourbon barrel aged beer's already been aged in the barrel. So it's already had the age. It's already been in a year or 2 years or whatever, and now it's ready to drink. So are we now taking a beer that's out of the wood, it's in a bottle, and now we're letting it oxidize in a bottle, and we're letting it stale. So why are we waiting? It's you wouldn't have served it to the public if it wasn't ready. So I think we're getting a little crazy about saving.
Not some of these breweries, space-wise, they have to get them out. I understand, they should release a beer that's ready to go, and they want you to drink, but they may not have space to have it. It's going to be good now, but it'll be fine in a couple years too. But we have to get it out of here because we need room for these other great beers.
I think the idea is, every brewery should feel comfortable about the beer that's coming out of their brewery.
Okay, yeah.
They should never release a beer that says, "Don't drink this now." That's ridiculous.
That's kind of my point. Yeah.
Okay.
However, there certainly are some beers that do benefit with age. I mean, that's. Yeah,
just pour.
Speaking of which, I thought you were cheersing me. But the point of the thing is, you don't necessarily have to just age everything and keep it for 2 decades.
Well, I think the really important thing to remember is that beers that are in wood or in bourbon barrels are aging. Once they're in a package, they're staling. It's a big difference. You're either aging or you're staling. And if they're staling, you got to drink them. A beer isn't going to get a million times better in a bottle. It's going to continue to develop over time in wood. And I'm pointing, if you can't tell, over there. Wood. The beer is going to develop. It's going to maturate. It's going to be much more delicious over time in the wood. But in the bottle, it's just going to get old. So it's going to work for a little while, but it's not going to work for years. And I think we're a little too caught up in, oh my God, I've got 2005, whatever, and all it tastes like is freaking soy sauce. And it's
and so
we had a lot of those tonight.
We know you're a big wine fan, so is wine different in the bottle? Like, is it going to mature differently than beer would? Because we're always kind of going to wine. The beer people are like, I have the 2005 from this vineyard, so is wine different in the bottle versus beer?
Wine is absolutely different in the bottle. One, wine is a much higher alcohol content, which really changes how it ages. But there's no hops in wine, so you're not getting staling, oxidation, and breakdown of hops in a bottle like in beer, like you are in wine. And just the actual juice of the grape and the real kind of formula of what wine is kind of lends itself to a little bit better bottle aging than beer does. You've got a lot more residual sugar, depending on the style of beer, than wine, and the hops and the oxygen content. Because a lot of the beers that people are putting into bottles for long-term aging are have much higher oxygen content than wines are having. So you're getting a much quicker staling.
So the idea that we wanted to introduce to everybody, mainly the guy with the fuzzy hair, is that, sometimes fresh beer isn't all that bad. A lot of times it's really fantastic. So no need to put these beers on a super pedestal and leave them on your mantle for a little while. And basically anything that I can suggest would be find a group of friends and drink beer.
Just drink it.
Be a generous person and hey, I got this beer and it was really rare and it was really hard for me to drink to buy, but all right, you gotta drink it when it's tasty. Otherwise, you're missing the whole point.
And you don't want to kill the 15% beer by yourself.
No, nobody wants to. Nobody wants to.
Unless you had a bad day at the office. Or like a bad hair day, or maybe like Maeve was behind you the whole time going, hurry up. Hurry up. Time to wrap it up. All right. But I mean, agreed. The most important thing about all of these amazing beers that we had tonight were that the newer ones were the better ones. I mean,
it was actually a very great learning experience. You know, you got to get out there and drink your cellar. I mean, what else can I say? I'm telling you to drink. I mean, why are you pushing back at me?
That's what we promote on the Hopcast, is drinking.
You need to drink more. Get down in your basement and drink more. So that's basically all we had to say.
Don't miss the opportunity to have the beer at its prime. Mm-hmm. You might miss this amazing bottle of beer that you have in your cellar. You wait an extra year, and it's just not going to be the same.
And then you're sad.
Drink it.
You wasted the time.
Wasted the money, wasted the effort. Everything's gone.
Cheers. Drink the beer now.
That's all we have to say. Cheers.
Drink the beer.
Thanks for watching the Hopcast.